The first time I heard the name was when it dropped from the lips of Lauren Schuler-Donner in her office, several years ago. And indeed, I suppose, like the rest of the world, I associated it with another quite well-known show that has X in the title, but I was disabused of that.
I think Ian McKellen, is a mutant.
I hate to admit it, but I think I'd heard of it, but I was not into comics as a kid.
The whole thing is new to me, I'm sorry to say. I didn't grow up reading comic books really at all.
I knew of it, but it wasn't until I got this film where I really started reading the comics and becoming a big fan, actually.
I was thinking of Harrison Ford in Star Wars, thinking, you promise you're going to put the little creatures in afterward. I'm not going to look like an asshole here. So let's just hope we look good.
What is it means? Because I don't really know.
I really have never read comic books. As a kid, I never read them. Of course, once I got the part, I thought, oh, whoops, I better start finding out about it.
My children enjoyed watching the cartoon on Saturday mornings, and I'd watch it sometimes with them, and I enjoyed it very much. But I didn't completely understand it totally until I did get the role of Sabretooth.
I had seen the cartoon on television when I was younger, but I'd never really been a comic book person. But I am now.
I don't even have a full copy of the script.
I
think we were able to put together the cast because of Bryan, first and foremost. Because Bryan isn't known for doing a comic movie. He sent the message out to the cast that, you know, his vision was more reality-based.
If it were up to me, I'd lock them all away. It's a war. It's the reason people like me exist.
When departing from things that the fans have come to be comfortable with, I always try to at least remain respectful to the essence of the characters. And since the characters over 38 years have gone through so many different transformations, it's an awful lot to choose from.
Bryan's very smart. Bryan has put heart and soul into this in terms of finding a way to tell this story that makes sense, is realistic, is not goofy, and he's completely absorbed by that and going after it. He tries to make sure that the logic makes sense, that the core fans are going to be satisfied. But he too doesn't come out of that core fan audience. He's only recently been grafted into that. And so he appreciates that, but also appreciates what it is that makes a good movie and a good script.
I think from reading the script, I had much more of a comic book sense of the world and a fantasy sense. I think it's an excellent decision because it creates a believable environment for our heroes.
The history that these writers have developed for these characters is astounding. It's incredibly elaborate. And Bryan has tried to insert as much of that history as possible to make it as real as possible and to draw the audience in and say this really exists somewhere.
He could be a valuable addition to us here.
He's not one of us.
But he is. Don't forget that.
Fine. But if you put a guy like that in a combat situation, there's no way he's going to take orders.
Give him an order worth following, he'll take it.
And I think what's interesting about X-Men is each mutant ability or each character has both a blessing and a curse. Cyclops, has this incredible energy that comes from his eyes, but he can never really, look at another human being with his naked eyes without destroying them. And, being a psychic and having your head filled every day with the thoughts of other people. And just, there's all these different dichotomies and anti-heroisms in the universe. And I find that really interesting.
Like if you could sit there and imagine that right now, someone would walk through the door and blast a hole in the wall with his eyes. You would be A, scared, be amazed and see, once you had time to let it settle in, go, what the hell was that? And should I be scared of that? Does that put me at any risk in whatsoever?
Are mutants dangerous?
I'm afraid that's an unfair question, Senator Kelly. After all, the wrong person behind the wheel of a car can be dangerous.
Well, we do license people to drive.
Yes, but not to live.
Mankind always fears something more powerful than itself. That's always a direct threat. And as people evolve and mutate, that threat becomes greater. And the human race has to react in a way that either goes to war over it or deals with it.
I was afraid if I went to hospital, they would treat you like a mutant. We're not what you think. Not all of us. Tell it to the ones who did this to me.
These issues of that are very relevant in society today, of how we live with people who are different from ourselves, who we may fear or feel uncomfortable about, and how we can create a society in which everyone can coexist together happily and creatively and productively, is what lies at the center of this, and the fundamental argument that finally violence, it isn't going to be the way to go.
You Homo sapiens and your guns.
That's enough, Eric.
Let them go.
And I think that's been the particular appeal of this comic strip, that it has taken a fantasy take, a fantasy look at what it is like to be considered so unusual by society at large that they're prepared to think of you as less worthy than they are to live.
Let them pass that law and they'll have you in chains with a number burned into your forehead. It won't be that way. Then kill me and find out.
It's Bryan who embraces this Martin Luther King versus Malcolm X approach to the values that are being presented. And I think he's doing a good job at that.
Everybody tried to find the most interesting characters among the X-Men, and the ones that were selected, A, were thought to be very interesting, and B, they were characters that worked well together.
The first actor that we went to was Ian McKellen, Sir Ian McKellen.
I think Ian McKellen, is a mutant. Being a gay man, I'm often thought to be too dangerous and too unusual, too abnormal to be allowed into society as a whole. And that, therein lies my interest in mutants. But I know, speaking to Marvel Comics, that it's not just gay people who identify with mutants, it's other minorities too, religious minorities, racial minorities.
Mankind has always feared what it doesn't understand. They have laws like the All-Mutant Registration Act.
The intention of the Mutant Registration Act.
Intentions! Intentions! We know all about the road to hell and what it's paved with. We're not talking about intentions. We're talking about mankind, its fear. And trust me when I tell you it's only a matter of time before mutants will be herded into camps, studied for weaknesses, and eventually wiped off the face of the earth. Well, I'm much more giving than that. I simply want to show you, to help you understand. Well, don't fear God, Senator, and certainly don't fear me. Not anymore.
He is an interesting kind of villain because he's not a villain in the conventional sense. He actually has seen in the past how minorities or people have been singled out and murdered. His family killed in a concentration camp. He was very young. And he harbors that fear and resentment for